Hey everybody, Logan here. Today we're reviewing, well, Soul Hackers 2. Can you see that? Can we see that? Okay, the light. But hey, so we're going to review Soul Hackers 2 by Atlas and Sega, a game that's in the Shin Megami Tensei series. But we're going to start something a little different. For reviews from now on, I'm going to introduce a new thumbs up, thumbs down rating system. I'm not a big fan of the numbers or the grades, letter grades, because sometimes it's just, you know what? People have so many different opinions on video games. I'm just going to go with 2 thumbs up for great, 1 thumbs up for good, thumbs sideways for the definition of meh, 1 thumbs down for bad, 2 thumbs down for terrible. So that's what I'm going to do from now on. So in all reviews, it's going to be a thumb up, thumb down, just like we do at the end of the videos. So, if you guys haven't played it yet, Devil Summoner Soul Hackers is the series. Shin Megami Tensei Devil Summoner Soul Hackers is the actual series. And it started in 1997. Most people don't realize it was actually on the Sega Saturn and then later ported to the PlayStation in 1999 and for the 3DS in 2012. This is technically the 3rd game in the series, in the Devil Summoner series. But they pretty much chopped off the Shin Megami Tensei and Devil Summoner title for this one just being Soul Hackers 2. So I think that's pretty interesting. So it's technically a 3rd game in the series. The story, from my understanding, is not a direct pickup from one end of the story to another. So in this review, I'm not going to spoil any story elements. It's a spoiler-free review. We're going to be talking about gameplay and story structure. Because it is a JRPG, I don't want you to watch this wondering if you want to play it and then get spoiled with the story. I'm not going to do that. So, for those of you who are big into JRPGs, classic turn-based style JRPGs, you're going to find this very, very entertaining. Now, unlike some newer JRPGs, it starts out like an older one. And how you might say, there's a lot of story. There's a lot of story set up. The dialogue is fantastic. There are some scenes that would probably be considered very boring to people who are into like the new Final Fantasies, which are all action oriented with very little story in between, just a cutscene of talking, and then back to press X to win, like Final Fantasy VII Remake. There are scenes where, for example, the party will be sitting around a table and just talking to each other. Other times, you'll get a screen where you have the 2 talking heads coming out and they're discussing. Now, the thing is, when you are playing the game, you can change the voices from English to Japanese. I prefer English because it's easier for me to follow than to always have to read subtitles along with listening. It's just the thing I have. Now, one cool thing that they do have when you're watching the subtitles, you can hit the I guess it's the share, not the share button, but on the PlayStation controller would be the what I call the hamburger button, which is the 3 lines, and you can put it in auto mode. So they'll just talk like they're having a normal conversation. So during the longer ones, you can put down your controller and act like you're just watching an anime. It's actually pretty cool. I think the way the story is written is very classic. It feels like a classic anime with a classic JRPG feeling. I really, really enjoy that. Now, the game is based around a couple characters. They actually included them cards with the game, depending on where you got it. The main character, her name is Ringo, and the character's not what you think. I think it's I don't want to spoil it, but they're not really human, but they kind of are in a way, without spoiling any of the plot twists, even though it's only within you find out within the first 30 minutes of the game. I'm not going to spoil it. It's really cool. I like the main character's design. I like all the characters' designs. They all have their own unique personalities. So the characters are Ringo, who is the character that you play as. You got Figu. I can hear her name being pronounced, but I can't pronounce it correctly. She is the secondary character that is almost like your partner when you start, I guess, the game. There's so many things I want to say, but I'm like, oh, it gives away story points, and I really don't want to do that. The first character you interact with is a character named Arrow. He joins you. Another one, her name is spelled M-I-L-A-D-Y, so I was thinking it's Milady, but it's Milady. And then another one, his name is Sizo. So each character has a different personality. They interact very well with each other. It's interesting. I really like the group dynamic. One thing that, if you're familiar with soul hacking, the characters can actually bring other characters back to life. Those who can soul hack. Your main character, Ringo, she can definitely do what's called a soul hack and bring people back to life. And it's kind of funny how she has to do that on more than one occasion. I'm not going to say with who, but it's a really cool mechanic. Story-wise, that out of the way, because the more I talk about the story, the more I want to divulge certain plot points, and I just don't want to. I'm going to say the story, I like it. I'm giving the story a thumbs up. I really enjoyed it. It kept me playing for hours and hours, and I'm like, okay, gotta go to bed. It's one of those, because the story is interesting. The dialogue itself is interesting. The voice acting is good. I think the voice acting is very good. Normally you get English voice actors, and it's hit or miss. This one I thought was very good. I enjoyed it. Now, talking about the combat system. The combat system is a turn-based. You do, I guess, because the main character is not, she's a soul hacker, I guess you could say, while the other characters you use are devil summoners. And devil summoners, think of Pokemon in a way, where you can more like recruit these demons, and then you can summon them, use them to aid you in fights. Now, one thing that equipping the demon to each character, because each character can have a demon equipped to them, and it reminded me a lot of Guardian Forces and the almost like the junction system, but not because you don't have magic, but you junction a Guardian Force or summon to your character in Final Fantasy VIII. It reminded me a lot of that. And then as the demon levels up, it gives you new abilities, and you can swap out demons and then learn new abilities, stuff like that. Now, the demons actually have elemental or force strengths and weaknesses, and those carry over to the character. So you can get buffs, you can get debuffs, you can get strengths, you can get immunities to different elemental attacks and stuff like that, just as the demon would. I think it's an interesting mechanic, and it's taken from classic JRPGs, other ones, and put their tweak on the battle system. I do like the design of the battle system when you're in I guess fight mode, whatever you want to call it. You see your character, and then around the side, around them, you have a your options menu instead of just down in the corner in like a little blue box or something like that. It reminds me a lot of, well, the other Shin Megami games, and you're gonna see a lot of similarities between this and those others, even though they're not the same. But if you played any other Shin Megami games, you will notice things that carry over from one iteration or one game to the next. The battle system is great. I enjoyed it. I'm going to give a thumbs up on the battle system. It does have little things where you can actually skip the battle. You're saying, what? Yeah, there's, for trivial moments, it actually says that in the game. If you hit the hamburger button, you can skip through, and what it does, it just does regular attacks for you on trivial battles against, random dungeon demons that pop up, or or something like that. I wouldn't suggest using it against any of the stronger enemies because don't. it's only regular attacks, so you won't use any of your magic points or whatnot. The MP that you would use now, you have your regular attacks, and your MP is used for your demon attacks. So as you progress through the game, you will unlock these abilities because of your demons. You'll be able to do like ice attacks and fire attacks and lightning attacks. You'll see they all have their individual names like Zeo and Buta and stuff like that, but it's elemental attacks and force attacks. Force attacks meaning you use physical force over elements. So, yeah. But I think it's a very interesting battle system. I like it. I've been looking for something with a solid turn-based battle system for quite some time, and this has really done it. I think if you're looking for an RPG, a JRPG in particular, that has that feel, that gameplay that a lot of JRPGs are lacking these days because of the shift that the Japanese, I guess, developers think everybody wants action-based, and we don't. There's a lot of us that still strive to find that next good turn-based game that a lot of us JRPG fans, grew up with, or, just were introduced to the genre to. And this is a really good one. It's not going to be everybody's cup of coffee, or cup of tea, or energy drink, whatever you want to call it. It's not. If you do like turn-based JRPGs with a very Japanese feel, you will enjoy this. The story, like I said, it's a solid story. I've enjoyed it. I think the writing is done well, and the pacing is done well. There are some spots where it kind of drags out. Like I said, there are times where they're around a table just talking, but the conversations move smoothly enough and organically enough to keep you from going, rolling your eyes or wanting to grab your phone and do something on it while they're talking. No, it doesn't do that. I think the game is very, very well paced. The gameplay is well paced compared to story. One other thing, you do traverse the it's not really an overworld, but each of the sections, each of the areas, part of the city, you do walk around. The only time I have an issue, there are some areas where you can actually fight enemies. There are dungeon areas. There's a dockside area that the pathways are a little narrow, and if you're trying to turn the camera, it can get a little wonky. That's the big issue I have there. You can pre-attack an enemy before you just swing your blade, and you get like a preemptive attack. So half the time you'll get a special attack where one of your characters will attack first. Now, on top of that, speaking of weapons, now each of your characters have something called comps. Comps are your weapons, and just like most JRPGs or RPGs in general, you can upgrade your weapons. So you go to stores called comp stores, and they can upgrade those, give them new abilities, give them new strength, stuff like that. I think that's pretty cool. There are shops where you can buy your typical accessories, your add-ons, that enhance your abilities, gives you buffs, stuff like that. You have your typical potion stores, or whatever you want to call them, where you pick up your potions, your healing items, stuff like that. And then there's also different quest givers outside of your main storyline. There are buildings and places and people you can see if you want to pick up new quests to basically enhance the grind to get your characters leveled up, just like in any standard JRPG or RPG these days. So it's got a lot of the standard tropes, which is completely fine because that's what's made a JRPG. And I think overall, the writing is done very well. Battle system, very well. Gameplay overall, very well. The controls when you're going through some of the dungeons is the only thing, like I said, that bothered me at time to time. The camera angles can be a little wonky. That's the only thing that really bothered me. But I'm not going to say it is the greatest RPG I've ever played. It is a good one. It was solid. It was very enjoyable. I'm not going to put it up there with some of my favorites, like, say, Final Fantasy VIII, 10, Lost Odyssey, stuff like that. It's really good, though. And if you're a fan of the Shin Megami Tensei series, if you're a fan of the Devil Summoner series, or have played either of the other games in the series, I would definitely recommend playing this one. Now, I wish I could go back and find the original, but it's a Sega Saturn game. And even the PlayStation version are pretty expensive. The cheapest one I've seen was the 3DS, sitting at about $80 on average. So, if you want to go and find out the previous stories, you can watch some videos on YouTube, look them up that way. But, hey, there you go. Thank you guys for watching. I'm going to say overall, thumbs up. Thank you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this review. Hopefully it allowed you to see whether or not you want to get the game. I could have gone deeper into it. I didn't want to because the story. I don't want to ruin the story. I like the characters. I like the side characters. The enemies are really interesting. The arc that goes through the story is an interesting arc. It interconnects each of the characters in different ways, and I thought it was very well done without ruining that, because even that main thing that connects them all makes you go, huh, interesting. Oh, that's that's rough. You'll get different reactions. So there you go. That's where I'm going to end this video. Like I said, I'm giving it a thumbs up. And hopefully you do too. But check it out. It is on PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, and if I'm not mistaken, on the Xbox as well. But like I said, I've been playing it on the PlayStation 5. Graphically, the game's good. Gameplay, the game plays very well. And story elements, solid. Hence, thank you guys. Yeah, did I call it the poop? I think I called it the poop. No, it's not poop. It's great. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, share this video. Yeah, thank you guys so much. Follow us on our socials. Again, hit that subscribe button. It really helps. Turn on the notifications. I sound like a broken record. I always do at the end of these videos. But again, thank you guys so much. Like we always say, be legendary. Thanks again.